Hey guys, Nate here. Facebook recently put out a statement talking about putting their groups on probation on their platform for violating their terms of service. Now, this specifically has to do with the election, but it has to get us thinking. If we have a group for our business, there are a lot of businesses that have groups. Is this something that we should be aware of as well, as Facebook has put stricter terms on groups over the past year or so? Now, there are a lot of businesses that have groups. It's something that I think is very important and that you should do if you are running a business. They can be very, very valuable because while you might have your standard business page, a group is somewhere where people typically are going to engage, where people are going to ask questions, and they're going to get more notifications. Typically, what I see is that you can send out more notifications inside of a group, and you can invite people to things, and they're going to see that. You can see the people inside your group, and it's a place that you can realistically build a solid community of people that are asking questions, talking with each other, where you can post videos that people are going to see, and that you can ask questions specifically to your customers and be able to get feedback from them very, very specifically instead of sending like some questionnaire through an email. This is something that I think is even better that you can send out to people. Now, you can learn what they love about your brand, learn how to improve, and at the same time, if it's a group maybe specifically for customers, well, now you have a group of former customers. If they love your product, you can learn from them, and it is way more likely to put an offer to get in this group. If somebody's already given you $1, you're way more likely to get another $1 out of them. Especially if they love the product. If somebody's already paid you something, it makes a lot of sense. But groups can also be very dangerous for a business. Facebook bots prowl groups all the time. Doesn't matter the size or the reputation of the group itself or the business that it's in. They can shut down the group, they can shut down the business page, and they can shut down the personal Facebook profiles that are attached to the group. Now, this is something that is extreme, but it is something that can happen. How can we make sure this doesn't happen? How can we make sure that we're running a solid Facebook group? We are going to find out. But first, if you love getting the most recent updates on marketing and e-commerce and social media, and you just want to be a better marketer, please feel free to subscribe down to the channel below. It would really help me out. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in and break it all down. A first best practice when running a group, very should be obvious, but apparently it's not. There are a lot of groups. I join a lot of groups all the time. I'm in a lot of groups. I typically just let people in. Okay, you don't want to let just everybody into your group. You want to have a process set up in place, and Facebook allows you to do this, that people have to request to join a group before they can actually join the group itself. It can be a recipe for disaster if you're just letting everybody in because you don't know who these people are. You don't know why they're actually coming there and what they are there to do. These can be scammers that just plague your group with self-promotion or other promotions that they're running, or they can just post stuff that go against their terms of service, like things like nudity, which you don't probably want in a group, or things having to relate with drugs. Now, you might be able to catch these things, but at the same time, you might not be able to catch these things. And it doesn't matter if it was your fault or not, they can still shut down this group, especially if somebody reports it. That's a surefire way to get you shut down. Now, going along with this, in order to set it up so that people have to request something to come in, it's important to just have a list of questions set up and to establish a list of rules in your group. So when somebody requests to join, you can have them answer specific questions before somebody joining. Now, you don't want to be too harsh on these questions, but it's a good way to make sure these people are real. You can see if they're customers. Like, you can ask for things like emails. And if it's a customer and they're giving out their email, send them a discount code, right, for joining the group. A sure good way to get somebody, again, to come in as a customer. And you want to make sure these people are real at the end of the day. That's the biggest thing. Make sure, just understanding why they're there and making sure they're real. And they're coming into your group to either give value or that you can give them value. And make sure you establish solid foundational rules, right? You can have a list of rules. And I would even recommend when somebody is requesting to join the group, ask them the question, have you read the rules of this group? Now, Facebook gives you kind of a foundation or just a pre-made list of rules that you can have for your group. But I would recommend, checking those out, but also coming up with maybe some of your own, because you want to make sure people read these rules. You want to be strict on these rules. You want to be specific about these rules, that if you violate these rules, you will immediately get removed from the group. No second chances, right? You don't want to take second chances with this because it can hurt you really hard in the long run. Be very specific about this. Immediately removal if you violate these groups, and you can even make rules that are specific to why you want people in these groups, right? Like no huge self-promotions or something like that, or no spamming or whatever, And some of these, Facebook already has in there. They do give you a pre-made set of rules, but you can't edit them yourself and make your own. Now, the best way to know what to kind of make around these rules is make sure you know your customers and make sure you know the terms of service. Go read the terms of service and just the policies that Facebook has. Make sure you know these really well. It's going to could save you a lot of money and headache in the future. So just make sure you do that and know what your customers want, because then that can establish your rules, where you can set rules about specific things that maybe your customers don't want to see. This bodes just very well for your customers. It makes them feel much safer, and it kind of deters people away that may be coming in to scam. Now, the last thing that I would always recommend, and now you might be able to avoid this if it's just you, or if it's a small group, it's not a very large group yet, but I would hire a full-time moderator or just multiple full-time admins. And it might be something you can do yourself in the beginning, but as your group grows, this is something that you want somebody that is constantly monitoring, right? A moderator will be the person that is getting the requests, and they're actually reading the information people are putting in there. They're actually making sure that these are real people. They're making sure everyone's following the rules. They're watching the posts that are getting put in there, and they're making sure that questions are also getting answered. So they can kind of be an ambassador for your company inside of the group, but can also be somebody that is just making sure that everything is staying above water, that everyone's following the rules, and that nothing bad is happening. It gives your customers just a great experience to make sure that there's no bad people in there that are ruining your groups, or it's really a good insurance policy against you getting your group shut down and possibly getting other things shut down or putting on probation by Facebook. It's just not a good place you want to be in. So if you have a very large group, I would hire a full-time moderator. If you can't sit there and see all the posts that are coming in the group, I would hire or a couple of people maybe if you want to. Now, be careful when you're hiring admins, because admins do get a lot of control in the group. And so make sure that you know who you're hiring an admin, that you don't get your group taken over by somebody, and make sure you just have those security things put in place. Now, all in all, I don't think this is something to be scared of, but it is something to think about. It's something you want to think about, especially as you are growing your group. Groups are a great idea for a business. Okay, every client we've ever run, we always have a group for that business. Always. Even if it's just something that starts off small, they are something that can grow in big. And even if it can grow to something like 1,000 people, and especially if you make it customer-based, that can be 1,000 customers sitting there waiting for you to ask them questions or waiting for information for you to put out your company. And 1,000 customers can make a very big difference. All in all, Facebook wants us to play ball with them. That's all they want, because they want a good customer experience on their platform. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, if you found value in it, make sure that you hit that like button down below. And if you haven't, hit subscribe. Thank you guys so much. Until next time.